We are inside the hall where preparations have started. We've seen a number of people also come through. I'm going to ask cameraman Mulelani Scott just to show you around the hall in terms of what's happening. The flower arrangement has just gone up now. The ANC has also hung their regalia. We know that the family is at their home within Port Elizabeth having a private ceremony there before they come through to the hall. We've seen some of what I could say were his rugby colleagues as well from the Spring Rose rugby team, which is one of the oldest teams that we have here in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, a rugby fraternity based in New Brighton. You'll remember that the Watson brothers were known to have decided to play with the black rugby players in comparison to the white rugby players. They're defying the apartheid regime. We do know that they have strong ties within the rugby community and strong ties within the ANC and the black communities throughout the Eastern Cape. We've seen a number of workers and colleagues that have come through that would have previously worked at what we knew to be Bosasa, but now Global Africa. So we've seen a number of people come through. We're still waiting for some family members to also come to the hall here at Feather Market. So what may have been known to many in terms of the year 2019, a controversial businessman, will be laid to rest today, and a number of people will be here paying their last respects to a man that a number of people respected, very respected throughout the business community as well and the political fields. We also have Lerato Thipa, our colleague, who is based just outside the Feather Market Centre, whom is there doing some interviews with those that are actually coming through. Let's cross to Lerato and hear what's happening that side.
While on my side of the world, it's only 9:30, but I can just show you, if my camera lady Natasha will just show you right now, it's 9:30, but as you can see, Blaine, people are already making their way in their numbers to try and secure a seat inside the Feather Market Hall where the funeral service is going to be held. I got to speak to some of the people and find out exactly their story, to hear their views about how they feel about this funeral and why they felt it was so important to come so early in the morning to secure a seat to be part of this funeral. Interesting stories coming out from the rugby fraternity, from colleagues, from people who also lived with him in Allisdale, and also people who knew him here in Port Elizabeth. And I came across an interesting man who had a really beautiful story to tell about Gavin Watson and the contribution he made to his life. His name is Africa Makolo, and he joins this morning. Dada, tell us briefly exactly how did you know Gavin Watson and what contribution did he make to your life?
No, in fact, the family of Watson, I know them all. The Gavin Watson is an elder brother to Valance and Cheke and Ronnie. Now, these guys, it happened, I met them during the very, very, very bad time in the area of Port Elizabeth. Now, when the apartheid regime declared a state of emergency in 1985, it was not an easy for us to sleep in our premises because the security police were harassing us, you know. So I went to them. Now, long before I met them during the state of emergency, you must remember there was a consumer boycott in Port Elizabeth. And these guys, they used to play rugby in the township. But it happened, I linked with them because of my involvement in the struggling. Now, the good thing from them, these guys, they are open. They love the people. They even give me the place to sleep in their premises. Because during those days, the enemy was looking for me. They even print the leaflet with my photo that we are looking for Africa Makolo. But the Watson family, they give me an accommodation. I was moving from Port Elizabeth to East London to King Williamstown. And some of the leadership of the UDF already was in prison. Then I used to communicate with my leaders in the UDF because we could not relax once there was a state of emergency. And once we lost so many comrades who were detained, and some of them were even murdered by the security police.
Tata, Mr. Gavin Watson is late now. What about him would you remember, as you say, a lasting legacy about Mr. Watson?
Well, the only thing that I remember, as I said to you, he was a rugby player. He was a person who was very much open. You come to him at any given time, you raise your problem. I am saying during those times, the apartheid. Then Gavin Watson was a very open person. He will just sit down with you and say that the only thing I can do for you, for the problem that you are having, it's ABCD. So that is the person, you know. Even if their parents, the mother and the father, I used to know them. So they are such a people who are very much open, who love the people.
Your message to the family today as they bid farewell to Mr. Watson?
Come again?
Your message to the family as they say farewell to their son?
My message to the Watson family, I am just saying to them, they must just accept it. They must relax. They must just take Gavin and let him relax to the grave, because he's the man of the people.
Interesting story there coming from Mr. Afika Maqolo. As you can see, just people coming in their droves, people from the rugby fraternity, people from the media, people from his community where he grew up in Alisdale, people from the sports fraternity coming in to pay their last respect to a man they said had a good heart and a man who did all he could to make a difference in the society. A story come from Ms. Maqolo said during the apartheid times things were so bad that he was being hunted by the apartheid government, and at that time the Watson family took Mr. Maqolo and put him in their household, and he says while he was there he was treated as an equal. So really positive, a new narrative coming out about Mr. Watson and the contribution he made to helping those that are unprivileged and especially the black people in society. It's back to you in studio, Blaine.